Here's another video, Chapter 7. We're going to be examining the area, the legend, the map unit, and the data map unit objects. And what I'm going to do is go into more detail and explain to you what all these different tables are in each one of these objects. And I do that because most of your work that you're going to be doing is in what we call the aggregated tables, or the legend, the map unit. For example, here's the legend, the map unit, the data map unit. And then down here is the area type, which will be the other one. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the area type table and try to explain this to you. I loaded this in already, and I'm going to show you how to load it in just a second. But the area type is the object that identifies all the spatial areas that we manage our data. And the non-MLRA soil survey area is that area that we attach legends to. If I open this up, you'll notice that I've got KS 169 Saline County, Kansas. And this is a soil survey area. Just so happens it's a non-MLRA soil survey area. I showed you before that there's a lot more than just non-MLRA soil survey area types. There are MLRAs, there are watersheds, there are state or territory, county or parish. Those are all the different types. And you can load those up by coming over to the queries. And these first two area queries, one allows you to identify by the area name the ones that you want to load, and the other one allows you to identify by area type name and area symbol. I'm going to use the area symbol, and I'm going to run this. This one is run locally, and the reason why it's run locally is because all of the areas are stored in your local database. You never have to query the national database to receive or to download the areas. So if I run this against the local database, I can choose area type, or I can choose area. The area type could be a non, and I can use an asterisk, or I can use MLRA, soil survey area. And the symbol, I could choose KS 169 as it appears here, or I could say KS star to give me all of the Kansas ones. And because there are several sites in NASIS, I can choose to use the national ones, which are under the NSSC Pangea, but the regions also have the ability to create their own area types and their own area names, and I could use those that are in region 6 by doing star 06 star. But for the purpose of this exercise, I'm just going to use star pound star. Now what this would do, this would load up all of the soil survey, the non-MLRA soil survey areas. The area type is non-MLRA soil survey area, and it would load up all the areas because I've got area as my target table. Would load up everything that's in Kansas. I'm going to go ahead and run this just so that you can see I've got 108 records that'll be populated, and there they are. So these are the out of the 105 counties, we've got 108 soil survey areas for Kansas. So that gives you an idea of how one of the ways that we manage these soil survey areas. Now I'm going to highlight this record, and there's two ways that I could come in here and load up the legend for this. One, I could come over here and select any number of these queries, and you know one of my favorite ones that I use is the ones that are for national, for official data, and typically that one that I usually use. And if I ran this one, I could choose area and legend and only the correlated, and I could type in KS 169. I could do that if I wanted to, and I could run that, but I want to show you another tool that you've got available to you. And that tool is this icon, load related for selected rows. And you can come over here and you can do a load the related for selected rows. And what this will do is it'll prompt you for all of those tables that reference this particular area. So I only want the legend, so I'm going to choose the legend, and I'm going to click OK. And it's going to say one record was selected, and I'll say yes. And it's going to come down here, and it's going to say that I had one record selected by the query, and 63 related records were added. Now I just want to go through this one more time. I came over to the table editor. I came load related for the selected rows. I highlighted that particular survey area. Now that particular set of data is in my local database. So then all I had to do is choose that load related function, choose the table that I wanted to use, and then just click OK, and it populated it. Now I can come over here to the tables, and I can double click on legend, and here is that particular legend. I'm going to minimize my Explorer panel. I'm going to minimize my status messages panel. I'm going to do a right click. I'm going to do a best fit all columns, and now you're going to see the information that's contained within the legend itself. Remember, this is a banner right here. It's first line, it's got a bold and it's italic. So that means that this information is coming from the area table, and the area type that we're doing, the site is Pangea. The area type name is non-MLRA soil survey. From the area table, we're getting the area symbol and the area name and the area acres. These are commonly called the NRI acres that many of you have heard about. Now, outside of that particular banner, I'm going to click and drag this down and remove it from my screen just so that I can concentrate on the information within the legend itself. Here it is. We've got the survey status. Is it published? Is it extensive revision, initial, non-project? Now, in today's world, we're dealing with initials and we're dealing with published. Basically, that's where it comes down to. We do have some non-projects that are surveys that have just not been started yet out in the western states. But for the most part, we really don't focus too much on these unless they're initial and non-project. Everything else we are updating by map unit, so it really isn't relatively that important. Correlation date of that particular legend, and then the legend description. And the rest of this that you see is based off of which MLRA office owns it, what date was the MOU signed, and you'll see a variety of dates on this. What agency is responsible, when was the projected completion date, what was the project scale when it was mapped. And this geographical applicability is basically an unwritten rule. Current wherever mapped is only allowed in one legend, and that is the one legend that has been sent up to the Web Soil Survey for publication purposes. So be very careful when you copy and paste legends to remove this geographical applicability from the field. That's only allowed to be populated on active legends, and the only current wherever mapped are those that are up on the Soil Data Mart and Web Soil Survey. Now, to wrap up this, I'm going to spend a minute showing you the variety of sub-child tables, basically child tables. The legend map unit table, once again, has a banner for map unit. So you know this information, the national map unit symbol, map unit name, and map unit type all come from the map unit table. And then the remaining columns are all information that are populated for that particular map unit within that particular legend. Then we have the overlaps, and the overlaps were some of the things I was explaining earlier. We've got a variety of spatial areas that we need to maintain: county or parish, MLRA, state or territory, climate factors, and rainfall factors. We also have the legend certification history, and this is the information that explains what's changed in that particular legend. And then the legend export certification is what the state soil science populates each time they export the data, and this is where they explain why are they exporting this data again. And then finally the legend text, and you'll notice the age of this table shows you that some of the information that's in this table has since been moved over to the history tables. So that just gives you a rough rundown of the area type and the legend, and this will end part 1 of chapter 7, and I'll go into part 2, and we'll continue our discussion on legend and move into map units.